shit in paper on these player haters. Old news, money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is I'm Not Gonna Hold You, Season 3, Episode 12, man. It is Thursday, December 15th, 2022, man. We are officially 10 days away from Christmas, man. So I hope everybody is out there, about to be getting into the Christmas spirit. I know there's a lot of people still working. And you got a couple more days before you can do nothing but sit at the crib and, drink alcohol, kick it with your family, and watch holiday movies. And for those of you who work retail and stuff, man, just stay strong, brother. Stay strong, because I used to do that same shit, and it's not fun, especially this time of year. But we're here. This will be the last episode of 2022, because I will not be doing shit starting Tuesday. So we're gonna be back on January 5th. I will be back in Los Angeles by then, so we'll be back to kick that off. We'll be like a week away from the NFL playoffs. Get into a lot of stuff on there. We're going to get into a lot of NFL playoff talk today. I got all clinching scenarios for y'all, because this week a lot of teams can start clinching playoff spot. In fact, there might be NFC West Division Championship clinch tonight on Thursday Night Football. We'll get into all of that stuff later, man. But I'm your host, Scott. You know to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at BarbChairScott. You know to follow this great media network that you're watching this show on right now, which is HB Media. You can follow them at HB Media TV on Twitter, at HB Media on Instagram. You can follow the Barbers Chair Network at Barbers Chair Net on Twitter and IG. If you're watching this on Barbers Chair Net, that means PCNet.com. Keep watching on there. Subscribe to the Patreon, patreon.com/Barbers Chair Network. Barbers Chair Shop will be coming in the first quarter of 2023. So look out for all of that, man. So let's start off with my sound off, man. My sound off, I'm dedicating this to my fine city that I am currently in right now for the holidays and to finish up this bear season, which is Chicago, Illinois. I believe Chicago is the best sports town, sports city, and not just America, but the world. Am I showing a little bias? Probably so. I don't give a fuck. To me, when I think of sports cities, I think of Chicago. I think of New York City. I think of Boston. I think of Philadelphia. Those to me are New York. Are sports towns where, like, no matter who the team is, if the team is good or even halfway decent, the city's rattling around, you just feel it. And I know you're probably wondering, I didn't mention Los Angeles. As a Los Angeles resident for almost a decade now, I don't think LA is a sports town. I really don't. There's just too much other shit going on in LA to be a sports town. I feel like LA, there are actually, the sports fans. I'm not going to sit and act like there's not. The Lakers and the Dodgers run the city. But, nobody cares about the other teams, So that's why I just really can't call it a sports city like these other ones. But basically, my point is I'm here to talk to the owners, the GMs of all the sports franchises in this great sports city. Looking at all y'all motherfuckers. I'm looking at you, Jerry Reinsdorf, who have ruined my life I don't know how damn long. You own the Chicago Bulls and the Chicago White Sox. I'm looking at you, Rick Hahn. I'm looking at you, Arturas Karnisovas, Mark Eversley. I'm looking at you, Kenny Williams. I'm not even a Cub fan, but I'm looking at you, Tom Ricketts. I'm looking at you, Jed Hoyer. I'm looking at everybody in the Blackhawks who've been fucking things up for the longest time. I'm looking at you, Ryan Poles of the Chicago Bears. I'm looking at you, George McCaskey of the Chicago Bears. This is too great of a sports city, too passionate of a fan base for all of these teams, for these owners to be acting as broke as they act. This is a city where all these franchises, including the White Sox, are top 10, top 15 most lucrative franchises in their respective sports. In fact, the Chicago Bulls have even moved up a slot over the last year into the top 4, with making into the 4 billion club right now, in the top 4 most lucrative NBA franchises. And you're out here screaming poor. And I'm more specifically, the thing that's really made me thought about this was really this offseason right now in baseball. We're seeing the Chicago White Sox, who are in the midst of their championship window, if you want to call it that anymore. If the door isn't closing, if the door isn't already closed, it's about to close. And you're not spending any fucking money. And you have the Chicago Cubs, who that championship is a distant memory now. We're going on 6 years since the last time the Cubs won a World Series. So it's been a minute now. There's a lot of kids who were in high school. You know what I mean? There's even people on the bench. I was talking to Cole Kmet. Cole Kmet, tight end of the Chicago Bears. He was in high school when the Cubs won the World Series. So it's starting to become distant memory now. And you're out here. You got this robust shortstop market of game-changing shortstops. Carlos Correa, Xander Bogaerts, Dansby Swanson, and I know I'm missing somebody. It's escaping me right now. But you got all of these guys who are available. Trey Turner, that's the one I was looking for, to join into your franchise, and you could take an opportunity to have another crack at the World Series because of the signings you made last year, where you got Marcus Stroman, and you got Seiya Suzuki last year, and you're adding on to these the young talent that you've got coming from the farm system. Those signings made sense last year because like, okay, well, next year you're gonna get all these game changer shortstops we can pay. Trey Turner goes off the board first. We went over his contract last week, $300 million. Xander Bogaerts, $280 million. And now we see Carlos Correa, who everybody said the Cubs win. The Cubs win the Carlos Correa train. And as a guy who remembers the 2019 pursuit of one Bryce Harper and one Manny Machado for the Chicago White Sox, now I heard that they were in it. They're in it. You know, I remember the meetings. I remember Manny Machado coming to the South Side to meet with Rick Hahn and Kenny Williams. I remember the Bryce Harper, welcome Bryce Harper banners at the United Center when they were meeting with Bryce. I remember all of these things just to lowball both of these generational players. And I don't know about you, if you watch this year's playoffs, I think those signings are working pretty well for both franchises. You got the San Diego Padres with Manny Machado, made the playoffs 2 out of the last 3 years. They knocked out the Dodgers in the first round this year, and they were 2 games away from actually making it to the World Series and losing to the other guy that the White Sox didn't want to spend money on, Bryce Harper, who actually made it to the World Series and had a great postseason front to back. I actually think that both of those guys are kind of underpaid off the value that they had from a couple years ago, as we see with a contract that just got signed 2 days ago with one Carlos Correa, who signed a 13-year, $350 million contract with the San Francisco Giants. San Francisco Giants missed out on Aaron Judge a week ago, but they had $400 to spend, and they said, damn it, we're going to go out there and we're going to spend it. And they went out there and they signed Carlos Correa. And if you're a Cub fan, you have all right in the world to be disappointed. You were fed these lies by Jed Hoyer. You were fed these lies by Tom Ricketts that the money will be spent. Just like Mr. Rick Hahn said on the South Side, the money will be spent. And the money has not been spent. And yes, there's another shortstop out there who's available, Dansby Swanson. Now, let's be very clear, and this is no disrespect to Dansby Swanson. I think Dansby Swanson is a solid shortstop. There's a reason why the Atlanta Braves don't want to bring him back. He is the Carlos Boozer of this shortstop market currently. He's good. If the Cubs do sign him, okay, cool, but you're going to overpay because that's just what the market is. And the thing that I don't understand in today's really just landscape of sports, free agency in general, but especially with baseball, you got to pay to play. The $300 million is the norm now for these different free agents. And you can sit up and say, well, the backhand of that contract is going to be nasty. It might, but it's your job as an owner, it's your job as a GM to go out there and get more talent when you're getting closer to the end of these deals. And these deals are 11, 13 years old. Long. We don't know what the hell the world's going to be like in 11, 13 years. Who gives a damn? The GM who signed him might not even be in 11, 13 years. General managers don't stay that long unless you're a member of the Jerry Reinsdorf franchises, who they keep everybody for mediocre work. And to me, I understand. I love trolling Cub fans. Don't get me wrong. I've enjoyed watching the Cubs swing and miss. That's all I've had this offseason to enjoy as a White Sox fan, is watching the Cubs swing and miss. But my overall point here, before I get too long with it, is these franchises in Chicago need to start acting like they're owners of franchises in the third biggest market. There's no damn way that you should be having teams like the Minnesota Twins outbid you. I mean, the Cubs got outbid for Carlos Correa last year with the Minnesota Twins. Then this year they offered Christian Vasquez some money, and the Minnesota Twins upped that money. Like, you are the Chicago Cubs. That $350 million that fucking Carlos Correa made, I guarantee you that money is gonna be made back in one homestand that quickly. And the thing that just doesn't make sense to me about owners is you do know that when you win, you make more money. We need more owners out here that's like the owner of the San Diego Padres, who doesn't give a damn. The entire payroll damn near is $1 billion. If you look at the money that Manny Machado is making, the money they just gave Xander Bogaerts, the money that they just gave Fernando Tatis, the money that they're about to give Juan Soto. And I love Steve Cohen. Steve Cohen, the owner of the Mets, is probably my favorite owner in sports because he don't give a damn. He's paying everybody. He's going to put a winner on that field. And I need these big market teams in Chicago, Illinois, to stop acting broke. You're going to make the money back. And for the Chicago Bears, who are actually the team with the most bright future right now, which is hilarious that a team with 3 fucking wins has the most bright future, because you finally got your franchise quarterback. You got $150 million to spend, and you've got 9 draft picks as it stands right now. You might have more if you stay at the top 2 pick, you trade back. But I'm looking at you, Ryan Poles, because all these fans are looking for a reason to be happy. And it went from, man, if we just had that quarterback, to now you've got a guy who you think either he is the guy, and you surround him with more talent, he's the guy. Now that you got the guy, don't waste the guy. We don't want to be sitting here and it's a Phillip Rivers situation, or what they're doing with Lamar, not giving him any damn wide receivers. You have a chance this offseason to put your money where your mouth is and actually deliver for this franchise and this huge fan base. Don't do what the Chicago Cubs are doing. Don't do what the Chicago White Sox are doing. Don't do what the Chicago Bulls have always done. And if you see the way that Zach LaVine is playing right now, they ain't never finna pay nobody $200 million again. Be the change, man. And all I'm saying is these fans of the city, they deserve better, man. Pay to play. So that's all I got to say about that. I can actually rant long on that. This is only a show that's an hour, and I don't have that much time to keep ranting on this. But that's all I'm going to say. Wake up, Chicago sports owners. So now let's get into our NBA segment of the week. As you can see, we have more NBA talk because this is the time of the year where I really feel like I really start to pay attention to the league. My opening day is technically Christmas Day. I don't really give a damn about anything before mid-December. And now we're starting to see teams emerge from the pack. I don't think we're fully there yet. To me, we'll know for sure around Dr. King Day, which is the real halfway mark of the season. We got to stop saying that the All-Star break is a half mark of the season, because it's not. After All-Star break, you got 25 games left. The season's damn near over. So the real halfway mark is basically Dr. King Day. But we're seeing all of these teams start to emerge. So I got a couple thoughts over the last week. One, I got to take on Mr. Jason Tatum. Well, not a new take. I've been had this take. Shout out to my guy, my super producer, Pavy. We've been on the I won't say anti Jason Tatum train. Well, Pavy's probably anti Jason Tatum, but I'm more of you can't fool me. Okay, last year Jason Tatum had one of the most egregious and fooling postseasons I've ever seen in my life. You just looking at the numbers and stuff like that. Oh yeah, he was balling. The man had 100 turnovers, and he did a lot of stuff that a lot of people just like to see because he has cool moves. He had one of the worst NBA finals, actually the worst NBA finals I've ever seen since 2011, LeBron James against the Dallas Mavericks. Now, I just want to say this. I know a lot of people killed me on Twitter this week when I said when they were getting drummed by the Clippers that I just don't see it in Jason Tatum that everybody sees it. Now, let's be very clear. He's 24 years old. If you're going off the short 6-week span that we have right now, yes, he is the MVP right now. But this is an 82-game season. A lot of things can change. Giannis can come in there. Jokic, you know how Jokic always does. If Zion keeps playing the way he's playing right now, he can get in a conversation. But yeah, as of right now, as of December 15th, 2022, yes, I'll vote for him for MVP. Having said all of that, I know the man is 24. He has plenty of room to get better. But I have seen him not be as efficient and as dominant as I need to see him be in big time moments. There was too many moments in the NBA finals where he shied away, and it looked like Jaylen Brown had to come out there and carry the torch. You can't have that. And I didn't like the way you having this big old MVP season and you play like shit against the Golden State Warriors again. Played like shit against the Los Angeles Clippers. Yes, I know he had 44 points against the Lakers. I don't know about y'all. I don't consider that a big game. The Lakers are a damn play-in team. Just like Charles Barkley said, we got to stop talking about them. They are a play-in team. Beating the Lakers does not mean anything. In fact, the fact they even blew that lead in the first place and let a 31-5 run in the fourth quarter go, I don't even care that they won that game. I just want to see more. I feel like he's a good player. He has the potential to be a great player. He's 3-4 years away from his prime. I'm not saying by no stretch of the means that he is a finished player, but I'm just saying if you're going to put him in the elite of the elite with the Giannis Antetokounmpos, with the Steph Currys, with the LeBron James, with the Nikola Jokic, with the the Kevin Durant's, I need to see my man be more efficient and not shy away from the big moment as much as I see him do. I need more of that, and I don't care if y'all can call me whatever name you want to call me in the book. I had a lot of Celtic fans in my mentions this week. That's fine. I'm gonna still stand on my take, and I hope he proves me wrong. I like Jason Tatum. I feel like whenever I make a critique about somebody, you act like I hate him. Like everybody who thinks I hate Lamar Jackson, which I don't. And I just want to see more. That's all I want to see from Jason Tatum. I want to see more in big game moments against big contenders because that's what the Celtics are going to need. If they're going to win a championship, they're going to need Jason Tatum to step up, look Giannis in the eye, look Steph in the eye, look Kevin Durant in his eye, and these guys in the eye, and go one-on-one and beat them in these situations. Yes, I know that they beat the Bucks and the Nets. For well, y'all come here and comment. These are different situations, but we're not going to do what ifs. We know Chris Middleton didn't play. We know the whole situation with the Nets, but I'm not going to get in that. My point is I need to see more. Moving on to my next point. I just can't give up on the Los Angeles Clippers. I can't. I just can't give up on this team. I know that they are, as Pat like to say, a concept because they're never fucking healthy. But when they are healthy and when they have Kawhi, when they have Paul George, I see so much that this team can win a championship. And just look at what they've done so far this year. I mean, they're 17-13, sixth in the NBA, sixth in the West. This is with Kawhi missing 20 games. PG's probably missed something around 5 to 10. I don't have the number in front of me, but he's missed a decent amount of games. But just the production we've seen from them over these last three games, they've won 3 in a row. They're 6-4 in their last 10. They've had some pretty impressive wins over the last week. Nice, just throttling of Boston the other night, and Kawhi is starting to look like Kawhi again. And to me, I just can't give up because I know there's potential to this team if they're healthy. Now I know this is a massive if. And I probably need to wait a month and a half to see them healthy for that long before I put too much dip on my chip. But I'm just not ready to close the door on this team yet because of how dominant those two players are. And I know a lot of Kawhi's defense is really just on reputation more than him actually being locked down on defense anymore. But even with that, I seem to see a larger sample size because I don't know if it's the injury or the fact that he just hasn't played consistently enough for us to really have a strong sample size on his defense. He did not play that good or well of a defense against Charlotte, even though he made the game winner. There was too many plays where, they were just going right past Kawhi. But Monday against the Celtics, he did what he needed to do. So I just feel if this team can just find any way to be healthy, they have a legitimate chance to come out the Western Conference, and not only come out the Western Conference, but to win the whole damn thing. So this is a big if that I'm hanging on to, but I'm just not ready to give up on this team with the Clippers. We have new awards this week. First of all, I just want to say, we just talking about cheap owners. The NBA, y'all make too much damn money for these shitty ass trophies. I mean, there's no damn reason why the NBA MVP trophy and Defense Player of the Year trophy should be looking like this damn water bottle right here, or them looking like them little 7-Eleven cups. It's just I don't like the new designs. They look cheap. They look tacky. I saw nothing wrong with the actual designs. I love the fact that they're giving these names to legendary players. To me, that's a good way to pay homage to the past. And I think the NBA does the best job of paying homage to their history and the players that made this league what it is today. Way better than the NFL does. And they don't even get me fucking started on how Major League Baseball treats their legends. But I think the NBA does a great job of that. I just feel like designs need to look better. Like, all these designs look good. The NBA MVP trophy, to me, was the best looking MVP trophy out of the 3 leagues. Now y'all got this with it look like a Gatorade cup. It look like my smoothie cup that I make in the morning. Looks very cheap. Having said all that, I think these names are awesome. The Defensive Player of the Year being named after Hakeem Olajuwon. Of course, we know the new All-Star Trophy a couple years ago that named after Kobe Bryant. We all know the NBA Finals Trophy has been named the Bill Russell Award. The John Havlicek Award for Sixth Man of the Year, which is great. I don't like the Clutch Award. One, what are you actually basing that off of? Two, it's a very NBA Twitter ass award. I don't see the point of that. But what I love is that the MVP award is named after the greatest of all time, Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Um, first, I just want to be clear that there never was a debate. I don't give a damn what you LeBron stands be up here talking about. Never really was a debate. But now, whoever wins this award will be winning the Michael Jordan Award. So, whatever your little conversations you have, you got to win that man's award. And I just think it's a great homage to him. I think it's something that, even further along for kids who, don't know about Michael Jordan, which is crazy because there will be a time where kids don't know who Michael Jordan is. It kind of, has his legacy go even further than just the shoes and just everything he's done on the court. It's awesome. But and also, for everybody to think that he probably should have been logo, we all know the NBA don't want to pay Michael Jordan to be the logo of the league. I think it's enough that he's got his jersey, his logo on damn near every jersey in the NBA. But I think it's just a cool salute to Mike, and it was just really something that I'm gonna use for my narrative. Any other debates I have. So shout out to the NBA for giving me more fuel in that debate. But number two thing I want to talk about over the last week, massive injury happened last night after the Golden State Warriors lost their second in a row to the Indiana Pacers. By the way, I need to ask for losing to the Indiana Pacers. Stephen Curry injured his shoulder last night, and Woj said right before I came on air that he will be out for a couple weeks with his shoulder, which means no Steph Curry for the big Christmas showdown against the Memphis Grizzlies. We don't even know if Ja's going to be able to play that game because he's been hurt recently. But I think this is a massive injury here. Now, last week on the show, I said I wasn't worried about the Golden State Warriors. I'm a little worried now because this team was struggling even with Steph in the lineup, and Steph has been playing out of his mind. Steph has been having a great season, and now you have this guy out for the next couple weeks, and they're already struggling. They have to have the worst road record in basketball right now. They're 2-13, which is just disgusting, especially for a team that is defending world champions. That doesn't make any sense. Getting drummed by the Milwaukee Bucks on Tuesday and then losing to the Pacers last night. And now you take that guy out of the lineup. Now there could be a situation where the young Bucks step up, where Jordan Poole steps up. Draymond does what Draymond does. They're going to need Clay to be Clay to stay alive in this run while he's gone. And you don't want a situation as good as this team is where you're a play-in team. Now you're putting more pressure on yourself. As long as this team can stay in the top six, I am not worried about them just because that championship experience that they have. This whole team has done it. Even the young guns have done it last year. So they know what it takes to win a championship. Now, if there's any coach who can weather this storm, it is Steve Kerr. But to me, I'm officially hovering my hand over the panic button with Steph out for the next couple weeks. And I don't know if they're going to be able to survive this, man. So that's definitely something to watch over the next couple weeks. I do think this Christmas schedule in general for the NBA and the NFL looked amazing when both schedules were announced. Now, because of injuries and lukewarm teams, it doesn't look as appetizing anymore. Kyler Murray's not going to be playing anymore. The Buccaneers have been hot ass. Now you've got no Steph Curry, possibly no Ja Morant. It's taking a little bit out of it, but it's also Christmas. I'm going to be drunk anyway, so it really doesn't matter. But I was looking forward to a little bit more before these injuries over the last couple weeks or two, man. So we're going to see what's going to happen. But my number one talking point over the last week in the association, Mr. Zion Williamson, man. I have been a fan of this kid. I think everybody's been a fan of this kid since his domination of dominating little white kids in high school to what he did at Duke. And I just did not like the conversation around Zion over this last year. One, you can't help when you're injured. Two, he's ridiculously young. He's 22. And for all the he need to lose weight thing, there's just some people who just big. And Zion's one of them dudes. He's just big. And for a big dude, he uses his weight well. And this is a guy in his second year, which is why it's crazy talking to me. In his second year, averaged 27 points and made a damn all-star team. Like, this is a guy who injuries the only concern. And we can see what he's doing now that he's finally healthy, hooping. And the Pelicans in general hooping. Right now, Zion is averaging 25 points per game, 7.3 rebounds. The Pelicans are 18-9, tied for first place with the Memphis Grizzlies. And these dudes are just out here getting great wins. 2 back-to-back great wins over the Phoenix Suns. They're doing what they need to do. They're on, I think, it's probably like on a 7-8 game win streak right now. And they're doing all this without Brandon Ingram, their second best player. I just got to give, my hats off to David Griffin, everything they're building over there. I think just everything they've done has been great. These draft signings, getting the Herb Jones, Jose Alvarado has been a great guy off the bench. Of course, we know what Brandon Ingram could do. The CJ McCollum trade, which when it was made, I didn't really get it. That has been an amazing trade. This team has just been a different team ever since they got CJ McCollum. Even without Zion in the end of last year, they got CJ, went on a hot burner, made it to the play-in, beat the Clippers in the play-in game, and then gave the Suns everything in the first round of playoffs. And this is a team that I feel like has a chance to make a legitimate run in this Western Conference playoffs. And I really love the you seeing just the era that we're entering right now. I feel like the NBA has, if you look at everything in history of this league, we can argue about which era is better. To me, that's a dumb conversation because there's different rules for different eras. But this is without question the most talent the NBA has ever had. And to see, you got the older guys, as in LeBron James, the Steph Currys, the Kevin Durant's, who are on their way out. LeBron more than Steph and KD, but they're on their way out. But you have all this young talent. And we had this conversation on Ball Don't Lie. I even think we had it on Hoops and Brews, where who's going to be the next guy to take the mantle as the face of this league after LeBron does. And I know Giannis can do it. Giannis has more of a personality than Zion, but Zion just has that it. And I'm not saying that Giannis doesn't have that it, obviously, but Zion it's just something about Zion that just smells like megastar. And he's a guy that I believe, if he reaches potential, can be the face of this league. And a deep Pelicans run will do nothing but just speed that up for in the NBA to see who's going to be that next guy after LeBron. Because remember, it was a tough 5 years when Michael Jordan retired in 1998. Very long year. I love Kobe. I love Shaq. Neither one of those guys were the guy after Michael Jordan. You needed that guy for people to just do the undisputed, baton carrier of the NBA. And we didn't get that till LeBron came. And I really feel like that not Giannis, but Zion is putting his hat into the ring of guys who could potentially do that. So I'm just enjoying watching Zion be healthy and playing, just really watching this Pelicans team, who I think is legit. And I don't think this is a thing where they're just having a hot streak. I think they're going to have a year that Memphis had last year, maybe even better than Memphis had last year. And it's going to be something to look forward to going through the rest of the season, man. So those are my NBA thoughts for the past week, man. So let's get into some NBA, some NFL, which is probably the main thing we talk about on this show. But we're gonna get into some NFL. We're gonna recap week 14. Here are my top 5 weekly thoughts from the last week. Number 5 thought: Mr. Odell Beckham Jr., you played yourself. Going on this free agent tour, getting wine and dined, going to people's houses, as he did with Josh Allen, making these media runs, going to Maverick games, doing all of this, and you can't even play. Now, I knew something was up when he refused to work out for teams. That just didn't make any sense to me. If you're any team that's a contender out here, who's been going for them? Now, the Giants are a contender. I think really they just had the X factor of literally X factor of them being the team that drafted Odell. Maybe they're hoping Odell will be sentimental and want to come back home, which y'all knew he didn't. Why would you, as a guy, Odell, who just won a Super Bowl, who's looking for a contender, why would you willingly go with Daniel Jones? That just never made any sense to me. But you got a team like the Dallas Cowboys who you can really take them to the next level. Buffalo, you can take them to the next level. And you can't even play. And you're saying stuff like, oh, maybe 3, 4, 5 weeks later, we're hearing from Micah Parsons, from Von Miller. It's crazy. It was a waste of time. And if you knew you weren't healthy, you just should have said that. There was no point in that if you knew you couldn't go right now. Nobody's going to sign you just for you to just play a playoff game when you ain't played in a year. That just doesn't make any sense when we don't even know how you look. So I think this whole situation was a waste of time. I do think that when the off season comes, that there will be a robust market for him because Odell is a game changer, even though he is coming off 2 knee injuries now, which is huge for any player, especially a guy who's been in the league this amount of time. But I do think there'll be suitors. But the way he just went about this, doing this, to me was just a waste of time when he played himself, man. Speaking of injuries, my number 4 is Kyler Murray, tore his ACL this week, non-contact injury, on like the second play from scrimmage in the first quarter on Monday Night Football against the New England Patriots. Terrible injury. I hope he gets better. This is to me, now you as a Cardinals, you really got to find out where you going from here. This whole Kyler Murray, Cliff Kingsbury situation has been the situation from hell. It's just not gotten off to where it's going to. This guy's going to be out probably all of next season. The worst part about getting an ACL injury at the end of the year is you're going to miss all of next season. Now, you got some guys who, you know, are quicker in their recovery, and I'm not saying that Kyler can't be one of those guys, but when he's your franchise quarterback, you just paid him all that money, there's no type of reason to rush him. So in saying that, should you tank next year? Should you go into the draft and try to get something to add that, hire you a new coach and just really set it up? Trade DeAndre Hopkins and get some stuff that you can get for him right now. Because they got to pick they've always had to pick a direction to go, but I do think this injury right now gives them an opportunity to kind of reset and do this the right way, because this marriage between the two was never going to work. Now, I personally think that Kyler Murray is vastly overrated. I believe that a lot of the conversation we have over him should be reserved for quarterbacks who are legitimately good. Having said that, I do hope he's healthy. We don't wish bad on any player, no matter how bad of a fan I am. I hate Aaron Rodgers. I don't wish injury on Aaron Rodgers. I don't want this guy to be hurt. Hope he gets better. But now it's time for the Arizona Cardinals to make a decision, man. My next one. Never thought I'd utter these 6 words I'm about to utter. The Detroit Lions have a future. The Detroit Lions have a future, ladies and gentlemen. This is one of the most dynamic offenses in the NFL right now. This defense has gotten much better. The defense was definitely the worst defense in the league at the beginning of the season. They've gotten much better. They had a great win this past Sunday, stopping the Minnesota Vikings from clinching the NFC North on their home field. Jared Goff is having a really good season, and it's like they're buying into everything that Dan Campbell has been preaching to them. This has been a team that I watched on Hard Knocks, and I was like, okay, they look like a cool team. And, you know, as a Bears fan, I don't hate the Detroit Lions. The Lions are the only team I can look down on. And that says a lot as a Bears fan, because we really should be looking down at nobody. But a lot of Detroit Lions fans will sell their kidney to root for the Chicago Bears, especially with the quarterback we have right now. So I have no problem with saying occasional good things about the Lions. And I think they have a lot of places to go. They own the Los Angeles Rams pick, which is going to be a top 5 pick because the Rams are god awful this year. And I think they need to go out there and get a quarterback. I know I just said that Jared Goff has been playing well. Jared Goff playing well is also, let's not fall for the banana in the tailpipe. We know who Jared Goff is. He can play well and then be god awful 1 minute. If you're going to have the youth movement that you have, right? And Jared Goff's not old. He's like 28. But go out there and try to get you one of these young studs. And while Jared Goff is playing well, you can groom the younger one. So when Goff is done, then you can bring him in. And if Goff does go back to regular for them, quarterback with 5, Chicago Bears over for business. Come call to us. We can get you in that number 2, number 3 spot for you to go get your quarterback, and you can just give us more picks. So to me, that's a win-win situation for them. I think that fan base out there, and I've got family members in Detroit. I've been to Ford Field. They got a loud fan base out there, passionate fan base out there. They've got something to root for. They got a big game this week against the Jets in New York. They're not in the playoff picture yet. They're in the hunt thing, but they've got a legitimate shot to win. Now, they're probably going to have to run the table the next couple of weeks and hope a team or two lose, but they're right there in the thick of it. And I don't think anybody came into this season expecting that to be the situation here in Week 15, man. So I got to give some love to Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions for what they're building over there, man. Number 2, San Francisco 49ers out here looking like a legit contender. Having said that, and by the way, prayers up to Deebo Samuel. Hope he feels better. Glad that the injury was not as bad as it looked. I thought he tore something. Glad he didn't. It's just ankle injury. They expect him to be back by the end of the regular season. That's desperate for the Niners. They need him back. I just want everybody to pipe down on the Brock Purdy talk. I think Brock Purdy has done well these last 2 weeks. Against Sunday, against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he went 16 for 21, had 185 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. But my problem with this is you got to give the man time to do this more. I've seen too many Tom Brady comparisons. Well, Brady was the last pick of the draft. Oh, he's worth 13. Who was the last number 13 who nobody knew who came and won the Super Bowl in the year? It was Kurt Warner. Those are two situations that just like never happen. Like Kurt Warner was bagging groceries 1 month, and then a month later he's leading the Rams to playoffs. That just don't happen a lot. Tom Brady being the last pick in the draft and then becoming the greatest player of all time, that don't happen. And I'm not saying that Brock Purdy can't come out and be a Pro Bowler, be a great quarterback. Who knows? Who knows? I'm just saying pipe down on the coverage. Let this man play. I do think he's a liability when the playoffs come. They're going to make them throw that football. Are you confident in Brock Purdy to throw the football in playoff situations was live or die and you're getting the opposing team's best? I'm not too sure. To be 100% honest with you, I wasn't 100% sure with Jimmy G. So I damn sure ain't going to be 100% sure with Brock Purdy. My other issue with this is this only happens with white quarterbacks. If he was a nigga, we wouldn't be having this conversation at all. It'd be like, well, he can run. He's running the offense. Can he actually make throws? I mean, we're seeing it. We see it with Justin Fields every week, and we're seeing it with Jalen Hurts, which the Jalen Hurts thing is ridiculous. I had Jalen Hurts on my list, but I wanted to take it off. But I just want to kind of combine the 2 points. Jalen Hurts, man, has got over 3,000 yards passing. He has 3 interceptions, 22 passing touchdowns. He's got like 600 rushing yards and 10 rushing touchdowns. And like I said last week, we have to change the way we evaluate quarterbacks in this new era of mobile quarterbacks. I care more about your total touchdowns than I do your your passing touchdowns. He accounts for 32 touchdowns, Jalen Hurts. Now, is he in a perfect situation? 100%. He probably has the greatest offensive line in football. He's got an amazing 1-2 punch in AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. And he's getting Goater back this week. So now you got a tight end. You got the great running game with Miles Sanders. You got a great defense. So yes, he's in a perfect situation. He's making great anticipation throws, but you can make anticipation throws when you have AJ Brown out there. Yes, it helps. You can see what happens when you don't have AJ Brown. Look at the anticipation throw that Justin threw 2 weeks ago. If that was AJ Brown, he'd have caught it. Instead of it was Equanimous St. Brown, and it was interception. So yes, these 2 things help. But looking from where Jalen Hurts was last year and the year before, they were calling Jalen Hurts everything but a child of God last year. And just to see just the growth he's made in the passes, there should be more praise on that. So we got people saying stuff like this. Now, obviously, part of it is Michael Parsons just being a troll. And I respect this troll. Cowboys, Eagles is coming up in a couple weeks. You're trying to, hype it up. I get it. But there's also a lot of media members saying these same things. Same media members turn around trying to hype up Brock Purdy. All I'm saying is pipe down, let the kid play. If he goes out there, balls out, gets this team to an NFC Championship game or a Super Bowl or even wins the Super Bowl, then crown him. I'm just saying, just let him play. Pipe down on all the hype, man. And my final point from the last week, man, it's put up a shut up time for Mr. Tua Tagovailoa. I've always fucked up his love. I sound like Ross. Tua Tagovailoa. It is a moment of truth time. You got a situation where you've played like shit the last 2 weeks. Did not play well against the San Francisco 49ers. Went 18-33. Threw a couple picks. This past Sunday, he was god awful. I haven't seen Justin Herbert that motivated all year. And also, get off Justin Herbert, man. Look, man, as a guy who knows what it's like when a coach and an offensive coordinator is trying to sabotage, I know that Brandon Staley and Lombardi, the offensive coordinator, are sabotaging. This dude has a great arm, and you make him throw to the flat. All these damn screens. Last week, he said, fuck all that. He's throwing deep bombs. He's trying to let y'all know. He's trying to let the Dolphins know you should have took me, not this dude. So there's a clear difference. And I like Tua. But now we got Tua to actually show the world that you can go out there and you can still make these big-time plays. That you're just not a product of Mike McDaniel's offensive calls. That you're not a product of just Tyreek Hill. And I owe Tyreek Hill an apology, too, because I definitely thought Tyreek Hill was a product of Patrick Mahomes. I was wrong. You need to go out there and show that. Get Jalen Waddle more involved. And all this is not just on Tua. The Miami Dolphins defense has got awful on the road. So that needs to get better too. I don't want to just throw it all on Tua. But when you're the quarterback, when you're the franchise quarterback, when you win, you get all the credit. When you lose, you get all the blame. You had 2 losses last 2 weeks that have brutally hurt your playoff chances. Now you got a big-time game this Saturday against the Buffalo Bills where you can go out there, get a big win against the division leader, against the conference leader, get 2 wins, sweep them, and put yourself firmly not just in the playoff conversation to stake your claim, but to also show that last 2 weeks is just a fluke. We back at it. And I'm looking at you, Tua. Get Jalen Waddle more involved. Make more passes because the defense is adjusting now. They know what you guys are running. They're playing deep. And you got to be able to make them throws to make them pay for that, man. So it's time for Tua to put up or shut up and get all these media dudes, including me, to shut up and just prove to us what kind of quarterback you are, man. So those are my observations from the last week in the NFL. And now we're going to move on to my weekly power rankings, man. At number 10, this team has dropped about 2 spots, man. I'm going to go with the Tennessee Titans. Very disappointed. Very disappointed. Well, not even disappointed. I can't even say that I'm disappointed because the Titans are this kind of team. The Titans, when you look up 17-3 final score in the dictionary, you're going to see a picture of the Chicago Bears and you're going to see a picture of the Tennessee Titans. That's just who they are. But the last 2 weeks, they've gotten punked. They got punked by the Philadelphia Eagles 2 weeks ago. They got punked by the Jacksonville Jaguars last week. This kind of stuff cannot happen with the reputation that the Tennessee Titans have, which we're going to run the football. Ryan Tannehill is not going to make mistakes, and we're going to beat you up defensively. They have not shown that the last 2 weeks. Because of that, I'm dropping them at number 10. Number 9, I got the Baltimore Ravens, who the defense is going to another level. Roquan Smith adding there, and we all know that was going to be a great trade for them. It was a great trade for both teams because the Bears, who are rebuilding and didn't want to set the market by paying Roquan Smith all that money, you get you a second-round pick. And if you're the Ravens, you get a great linebacker. Now, I still think the Bears are in a better position because now you got to pay Lamar and Roquan Smith, and both of them dudes don't have agents, and you have one franchise tag. Good luck with all that. But the Ravens offense is still just nasty. Even with Lamar in there, it's been a problem. And now they've got Huntley is going to be starting this week. He's out of concussion protocol. He will be starting this week against the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland. I just need to see more from that offense, but the defense has been good. J.K. Dobbins has been running the hell out of that ball, and Justin Malone, I'm going to keep them in my rankings. I do think they're going to lose division. The Bengals have been on fire, but they've got just enough to stay alive. So I'm going to put them in number 9. Number 8, the team we just talked about, the Miami Dolphins, lost 2 in a row. I have not been impressed by the Dolphins. The defense has been trash. Tua has been looking mediocre. They need to get back on the right track this Saturday. So I got them in number 8. Number 7, and I really contemplated dropping this team out of my top 10. Now, I made a tweet, I think it was like last Friday, where I said, damn, I know this is going to backfire on me, but for the first time, I actually believe in the Dallas Cowboys. And what did these dudes do? They went wire to wire with a team that has 1 win. 1 win in the Houston Texans, a team that played like 3 quarterbacks on Sunday. A team that you had to take a last-minute 98-yard drive to beat. Now, if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, you probably over there saying, well, they won. Yeah, they won. But you're supposed to dust teams like that. And it's stuff like that why people don't believe in the Dallas Cowboys, because it's fluky stuff. If you look at every other contender in the NFC right now, I'm taking them over Dallas. So I need them to reestablish their dominance and actually show that this time is going to be different. Because that, I'm dropping them 2 spots. They're going to be a number 7. Number 6 is a team I still don't believe in. And the only reason they're at number 6 is because I'm more disappointed in 7 through 10 than I am in them. The Minnesota Vikings, I don't care. If this team just had a really good quarterback, they could possibly win the Super Bowl. But you can't do that with Kirk Cousins. And they went out there and got drummed by the Detroit Lions in Detroit. That game wasn't as close as the final score showed. The Lions kicked their ass from the opening kickoff to the end of that. It was flat out domination by the Lions. They should be ashamed of themselves. And now they're 3 games actually, because they lost to the Eagles. 3 games behind the first seed. They're not going to get that. But just because they're record alone, because I'm least impressed with Dallas, Miami, Baltimore, and Tennessee, I'm going to put Minnesota at number 6. In my top 5, got the San Francisco 49ers. They're dropping up 3 spots. I said last week was going to be a big situation going up against the GOAT and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Brock Purdy's first career start. Purdy played a good game. Christian McCaffrey is looking amazing. That Christian McCaffrey trade actually looks like a win for both teams right now because of how great the Panthers are playing. And just all those picks that the Panthers have gotten also. And, of course, we know that Christian McCaffrey has been able to take the San Francisco 49ers to a different level. But that defense, this defense in the Niners is by far the best defense in the NFL right now. If they can win the NFL, if they can win the Super Bowl championship, they're going to be in the elite. They're going to be in a conversation with the 2000 Ravens, with the 2015 Broncos, with the Legion of Boom, with the 85 Bears. They're that good that they just need to be able to win the championship. And they're that good that if Brock Purdy can just limit his mistakes, and this is an era where I do feel that you need to have one of them ones like a Mahomes or a Hurts or Allen or Burrow to win the whole thing. This one I'm going to give a pass to just because of how great that defense is and just how great the running game is and how great the Kyle Shanahan can scheme. So they got some big win. They got a big game tonight where they got an opportunity to clinch the NFC West. I'm going to put the San Francisco 49ers number 5. Number 4, I mean, it's not that much to say. Kansas City Chiefs, man. Patrick Mahomes. Had a close one this past week against Denver, but they still won. And this is a guy he's just incredible, bro. There's nothing to say about Pat. Nothing to say about Andy Reid. They're great. Kansas City Chiefs are number 4. My top 3 has not changed from last week. Actually, my top 4 has not changed from last week. Number 3, still got Cincinnati in there. Bengals, another big win last week. Bengals got a big game this week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They are right on the Baltimore Ravens' heels to win the AFC North. This is a 3-team race, I believe, to win the AFC number 1 seed. Now, remember, because of new rules, this is the 3rd year with the Super Wild Card. That you have to be able to be a first seed to win the first round bye, man. So, if you hear my dog in the background, I apologize. That's the thing that you get going live, that this dog won't shut the hell up, but we're going to keep progressing and hopefully he stops. That I think it's a 3-team race to be the number 1 seed in the AFC between the Bengals, Buffalo Bills, and the Kansas City Chiefs. They'll be my number 3 team. Number 2, Buffalo, standing number 2. They had a nice dominating win over New York Jets. Not New York Jets, but it was the Jets. They played the Dolphins this week, so it was over the Jets last week. They need to be in prison for what they did to Mike White. Brutally damaged that dude. Don't know if he's playing this week. I think he is, but they just really, really destroyed the hell out of them. They're starting to get their mojo back, man. So I'm gonna put them in number 2. And number 1, Philadelphia Eagles, man. 12-1. I mean, they're Jalen's the MVP. They should be able to cruise this week because they play in the Chicago Bears. I don't think there will be an upset. I pray there's not an upset because I'm at the point where if the Bears win any game over these next 3, I'm gonna be pissed off. There's no time for a little heroic wins, contrary to most of the old Chicago media has to say. You gotta learn how to win. No, you don't. You got 3 wins. 85% of this roster are gonna be Uber drivers next September. No, you don't. Go get that top 3 pick so you can trade down or you can draft somebody generational like Jalen Carter. So I hope that they don't lose. I keep the trend up they be doing. Competitive games that you lose. That's why I want for the Chicago Bears. And I don't think it's going to be any different when they play the Eagles this week. Matter of fact, I do think the Eagles are going to blow them out. So that is my top 10 power rankings, man. Let's get into our week 15 preview. Now, we got a little different thing for y'all this week. A lot of playoff clinching scenarios this week. First week, we have a lot of playoff clinching. We have 3 days of NFL football this week. 2 weeks in a row, we got 3 days. We got Thursday night football tonight. We got a triple header on Saturday. And, of course, the regular Sunday slate. Next week, we got Thursday night football game. The Sunday slate will be all on Saturday because of Christmas. And, of course, we got the NFL will be on Christmas going here on out. They're trying to take over Adam Silver's block. There'll be 3 NFL games on Christmas. So we got a lot of football these next couple weeks. So I'm going to go over the playoff clinching scenarios for week 15. I'm going to start with the team that I said I was disgusted in, the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys can clinch a playoff berth with a win against the Jacksonville Jaguars this week, or a tie and a Seahawks loss, or the Giants and the Commanders don't tie. Another scenario that they can clinch is the Seahawks lose and the Lions lose or tie. And the third and final one is the Seahawks lose and the Commanders lose. Those are the 4 different ways that, actually 3 different ways that the the Dallas Cowboys can clinch a playoff spot this week. For the Vikings, it's very simple. You win this week on Saturday against the Colts, win or tie, you're the NFC North Division champions. Or you had the Lions lose or in a tie against the Jets and you're the NFC North Division champions. Very simple. Very simple that even Kirk Cousins, I believe, can't mess this up. Then we got the Niners. The Niners have really the most simple thing. Just win tonight. You win tonight against Seattle Seahawks, you're the NFC West champions. The Bills have 3 options to clinch playoff spot this weekend. They win against the Dolphins on Saturday, or they tie against the Dolphins and the Chargers lose, or they tie against the Dolphins and the Jets and the Patriots lose. Those are three ways for the Buffalo Bills to clinch a playoff spot this week. And the final clinch scenario, Kansas City Chiefs, the easiest one, and this is going to be the one that happens because this team is trash. All they got to do is beat the Texans on Sunday, and they're going to be the AFC West champions. And a division that all of us, including myself, thought was going to be generational was not at all. It's been them and three mediocre teams. They're going to be able to do that. But let's just say that something flukish happens and they don't beat the Texans. They can also win the division with a tie and a Chargers loss, and a tie plus the Jets and the Patriots. No, I just said the wrong thing. Chargers loss and Titans, and a tie and a Chargers tie. Those are three ways for the Chiefs to win. I know that might sound confusing, but those are different ways that those three teams can clinch playoff berths this week. Now, here are my top three must-watch games of the week. Number 3, I'm going with Jets-Lions. This is a big game for both teams. You got a team in the Jets who got embarrassed, got humbled last week against the Buffalo Bills. They're trying to stay in that playoff hunt. They got knocked out the playoff wild card with them losing to the Bills and with the Patriots beating the Cardinals. Now the Patriots are the number 7 seed in the AFC. So they need this win at home desperately to get back into that wild card spot, the final wild card spot. Now, if you're the Lions, a win here would desperately improve your chances to make the playoffs. Now, the Lions have to basically go undefeated these next couple games and hope that a team or two loses because of how slow they started the season. But beating this Jets team on the road will help them tremendously. That's my number 3 must game watch. Number 2 is a game that got flexed. It's a Sunday Night Football. The Commanders and Giants, two teams fighting for their playoff lives. This is the NFC East division game, so you know that something stupid is going to happen. Something stupid happened 2-3 weeks ago when this game ended in a tie. We don't need any ties. Both teams don't need any ties. This will be the Sunday Night Football game. Very important for playoff seeding. So that's my number 2. And number 1 must-watch game is Saturday's main event, which will be in Buffalo in that freezing cold in front of Bills Mafia. The Buffalo Bills going against the Miami Dolphins. This is a must-win game for the Dolphins, and this is a must-win game for the Bills because they're, the Chiefs right behind them, the Bengals right behind them for that number 1 seed. They want that first week off, and you don't want to lose both games to the Dolphins because if you finish with the same record, the Dolphins are going to win the division because they beat them twice. So it's a big, very important game for both teams. So those are my top 3 must-watch games. My sneaky good games. Now, all these really are probably going to be bad games, but I call them sneaky good just because of the playoff implications in all 3 of these. Number 3, Chargers and Titans. The Chargers in the same situation that the Jets in, trying to get that last 7 seed in the AFC. They got a big win over the Dolphins last week. Now they're going to have to go up against the team, the Titans that are reeling. The Titans have lost 3 in a row. Both teams need this to try to stay in this playoff race. Now, the Titans are in a better situation because they're going to win the division because the AFC South is garbage. But you don't want to keep this losing streak going up. So that's my number 3. Number 2, this game really kind of means nothing for the Raiders because they're pretty much cooked. But for the Patriots to keep that number 7 seed, they need to keep winning these games. So this is important for the Patriots. So I'm going to put Raiders-Patriots as my number 2. And my number 1 sneaky good game will be the nasty man Deshaun Watson's home debut against the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens are kind of like not the Ravens, but the Browns are kind of like the Raiders. Like, it's not all the way dead, their playoff chances, but it's definitely on life support. So they need to win this one. The Ravens offense has been trash. Lamar Jackson will not be playing. It will be Tyler Snoop Huntley this week. So this is a big game for both teams, man, especially with the Ravens. You don't want to lose this AFC North championship to the Bengals, man. So those are my top 3 sneaky good games. Now let's go into my predictions. Last week I went 7-5 in my predictions, which increases my season record to 98, 61-1. Now, granted, it's probably been about 4 weeks we haven't done shows during this season. So these are just my record off the games that I have predicted. So let's get into our Week 15 predictions. Starting with tonight, Thursday Night Football, Niners and Seahawks in San Francisco. Well, actually in Santa Clara, because they're like 2 hours away from San Francisco. But it really don't get much easier. Niners win tonight, then the NFC West champions. And if you're the Seahawks, you're trying to get back into this wild card race just as well. They need to win desperately tonight. But I'm going to go with the Niners. I think they get it done. I think it'll be a competitive game. All Niners Seahawks games are usually good historically. I don't think that's going to change, but I do think the Niners will have enough to get the win tonight. Then we go to our 3-game Saturday slate. The first one will be Vikings at Colts in Minnesota. I'm going with the Vikings to win this one in pretty easy fashion. I think we're going to see a lot of grittying from Justin Jefferson. I think Kirk Cousins will bounce back, and they will be the NFC North Division champions. And then the middle game, Browns, Ravens. Like I said, in my top 3 sneaky games, I'm going to go with the Browns over the Ravens. I do think that, that Deshaun Watson will have a pretty decent game. He's not been good so far, which is what I said, that you can't expect a guy who has been out for 3 years, basically, just come out and be the guy that he used to be. Big thing I'm looking for is Kevin Stefanski's play calling. Been pretty trash the last couple weeks, especially with Deshaun being back. But I do think they put up a big game and they go out here and they shut down this Ravens team, which has an offense that's pretty pedestrian. And then the Saturday main event, Bills and Dolphins. I think the Bills get it done. I do think the Dolphins will put up a good fight. But they're a Florida team, man. I don't, them southern teams and cold elements is not really the teams that I root for, and it's gonna be even tougher for the Dolphins to play Tua to play in that weather. And I just feel like that the Bills have turned the corner to get back on the right track, and I think they'll have enough to win this week. Now our Sunday slate, Eagles Bears. I'm not doing a preview pod this week, so I'm just gonna give y'all a score. I think it's gonna be something like 45-24. I do think the Bears will put up some points. That's what the Bears have been putting up points every week since the week 6 game against the Patriots, where Luke Getsy's like, my quarterback runs a 4.5, maybe 4.3, my bad, 4.3. Maybe I should run him because the offensive line is trash. So ever since he woke up and used that and realized maybe I should move the offensive line, help my quarterback up. Justin Fields really been tearing it up. They've been averaging around 30 points. I don't think they'll get 30 on this team, but I do think they'll get 24. And it'll be competitive for a little bit, but I do think it'll just be too much for this beat-up defense in the Bears, which they will be getting Kyler Gordon and Jaquan Brisker back, but it's A.J. Brown, bro. He's been cooking everybody. So I do think it will be a blowout. I think it'll be 45-24. The Eagles move on 13-1. Next game, Saints and Falcons. I was gonna pick the Falcons at first, but this is going to be the debut for Desmond Ridder and the new quarterback of the Atlanta Falcons, and he's a rookie, so I'm not really expecting much in his debut. So I'm gonna go with the Saints. Lions Jets, big game for both teams. This is in my top 3 must-watch games. I'm gonna go with the Detroit Lions, man, because I love the Jets defense, but I don't love that offense. I know what it's like to have a great defense, a great running game, a good coach, and you just wish your quarterback was good. And Mike White has been better than Zach Wilson, but the bar's in hell. Like, what does that really mean? And I just feel like the Detroit Lions offense has just been too good, and I think they're going to go out there and take care of business. Detroit Lions over the New York Jets. Panthers, Steelers. Panthers been playing well, and this is a big game for them because, later on I got, the Bengals, Bucks. If the Bucks lose and the Panthers win this game, the NFC South is there. It could be theirs for the taking because now this is going to go down to the last week of the season where both teams play. I think that this is going to be something that's going to be interesting, man. So the Steelers, Kenny Pickett is still in concussion protocol, so he's probably not going to go on Sunday. Because of that, I'm going to take the Panthers. I'm not confident about this because it is Sam Darnold, so he could lose. But one thing I am confident in, Mr. Trubisky being trash. As we saw last week, he was just throwing interceptions left and right, like I told y'all. So I'm going to pick the Panthers over the Steelers. Cowboys, Jaguars, man. Look, man. Cowboys need to go out there and improve something because the Jaguars been playing better. Trevor Lawrence is finally clicking. And after that embarrassing performance they put up against the Houston Texans last week, they need to go out there and dominate. I don't know if they're going to dominate, but I do have them winning. I have the Cowboys over the Jaguars. Chiefs, Texans. The Chiefs are going to do to the Texans what the Cowboys should have did to the Texans. This one's game going to be over by halftime, and the Chiefs will be the AFC West Division champions again. Cardinals, Broncos. The Broncos offense is bad when I'm taking Colt McCoy over Russell Wilson. And I'm glad that Russell Wilson wasn't as bad as he looked because he looked like he was going to be concussed forever. Now, I didn't check. He might be in concussion protocol. It really doesn't matter. Whether it's him or somebody else, I'm still picking the Cardinals in this game just because I believe in Colt McCoy more than I believe in the Broncos offense, which tells you everything you need to know. So I'm going to go with the Cardinals over that. Patriots, Raiders. I really wanted to pick the Raiders. I've really wanted to pick the Raiders a lot of times this year. But the Raiders are by far the most disappointing team in the NFC. I mean, in the league, period. So I'm gonna go with the Patriots over this one. You know, the Patriots defense stinks. The Patriots offense stinks. Titans, Chargers. I'm just not ready to believe in the Chargers yet, man. I want to, but not with that offense, not with the way they've been calling plays. And I think the Titans will get off the schneid. I think they'll get a good win and move on. Bengals, Buccaneers. We're going to see another thrashing. Tom Brady, my favorite football player ever. But I don't feel bad for him. I really don't. Go home. You accomplished everything that's accomplished in this game. Go home. I don't feel bad for a 45-year-old finally playing his age. You're gonna get one of them. The future is now, old man. What Joe Burrow does this man and that defense on Sunday. I think the Bengals win this one going away. And Sunday Night Football, Commanders and Giants in Washington D.C. The Giants, man, I told all year they've been hustling backwards, hustling back. All this little try-hard stuff is cute, but you need a quarterback. You need a quarterback. Daniel Jones is trash. You need a quarterback, and now you're probably gonna have to pick up his option because you won too many games. And I think that the Commanders going to go out there. Tyler Heineke is going to get enough to get it done. I got the Commanders winning this one. And the final game of the week, don't waste your time with this one. Aaron Rodgers has 1 foot in retirement or in another team. And the Rams, yes, Baker Mayfield looked fun last week, but we know who Baker Mayfield is. Having said that, for Monday Night Football, I'm going to take the Packers, but none of you should be wasting 3 to 4 hours of your time watching this god-awful game. So those are my predictions for the week, and we're going to wrap this up with the Goofy Mog of the week. This week, my Goofy Mog of the week goes to a team that I really hate. A team that I feel like a lot of people, a lot of NBA fans hate. It is one Phoenix Suns. These little unwritten rules and not just basketball and sports are trash. All the uprising, all the anger about Zion doing the windmill dunk after the game. One, if you have a problem, play defense at the end of the game. Number 2, as we saw, Mr. Chris Paul being dirty like he always is, tried to elbow Jose Alvarado on the neck. So by that time, everything is off limits at that point. You can do whatever you want. And then you're getting all angry, talking all that, and then you get banged on a couple days later by the same team. That whole team is frauds, full of clowns. Chris Paul is a clown. Devin Booker is just soft. DeAndre Ayton don't want to be there. I lost all respect for that team. A little respect I have for that team when they let Luka come in the house and take their food during the playoffs last year. So just shut up, man. If you got a problem with what they're doing, beat them. And obviously you can't do that. So I'm going to give my Goofy Bong of the week to Christopher Paul and his sorry-ass Phoenix Suns. Now, that is all I have for y'all. That's not only all I have for y'all for the day. That's all I have for y'all for this year. After Tuesday, I'll be doing nothing. You understand me? I will be getting drunk. I will be sleeping, and I will be watching my favorite holiday movies, man. So I just want to thank everybody who has supported this show in 2022. I want to thank my producers, Pav, Thomas. I want to thank my boy Illy for making the theme song for this show. We've been doing this show for a year and a half now. Going to take this show to an even bigger level in 2023, and I can't do that without y'all support. So I hope y'all continue to watch, tell your friends about it, tell your family about it. So we will be back on Thursday, January 5th. We will be about 10 days away from the start of the NFL playoffs. I'm excited about that. We'll be starting to get into the real half of the NBA season. And yeah, man, I'm really excited to get into all of that with y'all. So we'll be back for second half of season 3. So y'all know how to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Barberchair Scott. Y'all know how to follow H&B Media on Twitter at H&B Media TV. Follow H&B Media at H&B Media on Instagram. Follow the Barbershop Network at BarbershopNet on Twitter and Instagram. Visit the website, thebcnet.com. Subscribe to our Patreon, patreon.com/Barbershop Network. We got 3 different tiers. The $5 Summer Sessions tier. The 2022 finale will be dropping next week on the Patreon. So look out for that. We're going to close out the year with that. Some year-end lists, so look out for that. And then we've got, if you want all of them, 79th and Hallis tier. We're going to be back up with Soldier Field this week for Bears Eagles. So look for our post-game interviews, which will be exclusively on the Patreon. So look out for that. And if you want all the stuff, subscribe to the All Access. $10, man. We will be doing Cinema with the Guys. I know I've been saying that for the last 2 weeks, but we've been having a lot of scheduling issues. We will have that on the final week of the year. We'll be breaking down our favorite movies of the year, rank the MCU Phase 4, and talk about everything, all upcoming movies in 2023. So look out for all of that. And yeah, man, that's all I got for y'all, man. So y'all have a great day. Enjoy all the football y'all can get over the next 2 weeks. Enjoy spending time with y'all family, man. Happy holidays, New Year, Happy New Year. And I'll see y'all January 5th, man. We out.
Getting paper on these player haters, old news. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna